Hi, welcome to my channel, God's Anointed Child. My name is Lasaya. As usual, big up to all my followers. I appreciate you guys, and thanks for your like and your comments. I really appreciate it. So anyway, I'm reading in the book of 1 Samuel 11, and I'm gonna read from verse 1 to 11, but I'm gonna cut out 9 and 10. And this is just to encourage some, us as believer and even non-believers that, sometimes we see the enemy as a giant, and the fear will come upon us where we want to surrender to the enemy. But just know that the Lord will always fight for his people and will fight for us when we believe and have hope in him. And I'm reading from the New King James Version, and I'm gonna, like I said, cut out 9 and 10. It's quite long read. So he said, then Nahash the Amorite came up to encamp against Jabesh Gilead, and all the men of Jabesh said to Nahash, make a covenant with us and we will serve you. And Nahash the Amorite answered them, on this condition I will make a covenant with you, and I may put out all your right eyes and bring reproach on all Israel. See? The elder of Jabesh said to him, hold off for 7 days, and we may send messenger to all the territory of Israel, and then, if there is no one to save us, we will come out to you. So the messenger came to Gibeah of Saul, and told the news in the hearing of the people, and all the people lift up their voice and wept. Now there was Saul coming behind the herd from the field, and Saul said, what trouble the people that they weep? And they told him the word of the man of Jabesh. Then the Spirit of God came upon Saul when he heard the news, and his anger was greatly aroused. So he took an yoke of ox and cut them in pieces and sent them throughout all the territory of Israel by the hand of the messenger, saying, whosoever does not go out with Saul and Samuel to battle, so it will be done to his oxen. And the fear of the Lord fell on the people, and they come out with consent. When he numbered them in Gibeah, the children of Israel were 300,000, and the men of Judah 30,000. And they said to the messenger who came, thus you shall say to the men of Jabesh Gilead, tomorrow by this time the sun is hot, and you shall have help. Then the messenger came and reported it to the men of Jabesh, and they were all glad. So now I read 9, so I'm just not gonna read 10. So going to 11, and he said, it was on the next day that Saul put the people in 3 companies, and they came into the midst of the camp in the morning watch and killed the Amorites until the heat of the day. And it happened that those who survived were scattered, and that no 2 of them were left together. So you see, basically what I realized was that man Nahash, he wants to literally destroy their right eye, because obviously if he cut out all of their right eye, then they will be weak, because there's no way you can have one eye fighting like this in battle. So that's where the enemy always try to blind you and weaken you. And you see, in modern days, the enemy always try to do that in plain sight. We are like spiritually blind, so you can see that they want to attack our eyes. So back then it's just different, that they use like a weapon to pluck out your eyes. Now they're using like different things. On the TV you see it, and you literally just go blind. Like, you will see right and say it's wrong, and you're like, I'm looking at right and I don't know, but I say wrong. So you can see that the next thing, because they see him as this kind of giant, the Amorites and their crew, obviously the Israelite is running. Who is going to save us? Remember, God is the God of Israel, and for some reason they didn't look to God of Israel. They tend to start run and weep non-stop. You get what I'm saying? And you realize that even Saul was working in the field at that time. He wasn't even on the throne yet, where he was hearing from God or anything like that, where yes, he was anointed by Samuel at that time, but he was still going about his day to day. He wasn't sitting on no big throne. And at the end of the day, he heard, and he wasn't weak and want to cry and weep like them. He literally got so angered, where the Spirit of the Lord came upon him. And you see where once you trust God, his Spirit will come upon you. And I'm saying for myself, myself, it's the same thing. I would see the enemy encamp round about me, and I was like, God, come on. You say you will live a standard. What is this? Are you waiting for the brink of dawn for them to snap me, for you to intervene? But, the enemy will always try, will come huffing and puffing, but we know that God is our protector, and before we run to anyone crying, run to Jesus. So anyway, the other thing that I get from it as well, like I said, Saul wasn't wrong. He was there behind all the work in his field, and he was just, full of faith. But you see where, like I said, the fear come, so the enemy always at the end of the day want to come to cripple us. But what I realize is that there will always be help for us, that when we think that the enemy is stronger, that we ourselves is stronger than the enemy will always seem mighty, but we, the children of God, on the right side, believing in him, he said we will abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Once we trust in him, we are protected. We are in his pavilion. So at the end of the day, take heart. So if you're in despair, you're down and you're out, and the enemy is at your workplace, the enemy is in your church, the enemy is your family member, the enemy is your mother, your father, your sister, don't run and start weeping to your friends and your neighbor. Seek Jesus, because that's where your help will come from. And you see, just like how the Spirit of the Lord came upon Saul, it can also come upon you to strengthen you and to fight your battle and teach you how to navigate through whatever situation it is. And I'm telling you, because it's the same thing. And for me, what I realize is I always ask God to frustrate my frustrators. So if they're frustrated, they don't have much time to come and frustrate me. And I can see on a daily basis where when they try, they start having trouble left, right, and center. It's like they just, I don't know, it's like a floodgate of affliction come upon them, where they probably would even need my prayer to rot it. So as I'm saying, at the end of the day, just always take heart and know that God, he will prevail and put the enemies to shame. And you just have to, be confident in the Lord and stop running from the enemy. And see how they wanted to make covenant, and you see how the devil don't play fair, because even though they said, okay, yes, we're afraid of you, let's make a deal, let's make a covenant where we work with you, and the man was like, yeah, I don't have a problem with that, but on one condition, I take out your eye. And I'm like, come on now. The people are like, no, even if we go in covenant with this man want our eyes, this is not even fair. So there's no win with the enemy. He always look like, when you join that side, that you will win. No, that's a losing side from day one. And like I said, the enemy is manipulative, so he will always cheat you out of whatever he says. So that's one thing. Don't seek any form of covenant, don't seek any form of friendship or anything from the enemy. Once you know that this is an enemy of you and your people or your family, just avoid such enemy and put that enemy to God, and just trust that the same God that did it for them, the children of Israel, the same way he will do it for you. And like I said, all the time when the enemy come up is fear. And it's something that we can see that we don't trust God a lot. And I know I'm gonna deviate. It's the same thing when the Lord used the 2 fish and the 5 loaves to feed how much thousand, and then when they were crossing over to the other side, they're complaining, oh, what we're gonna eat, what we're gonna this is like they forget. So we have this tendency to forget that the Lord just take us out of that battle the other day. So he, the God that did it, will do it again. So once we realize that every time you go up a level, which I said this before, there will be new devils, new enemies, and they will always come bluffing and come puffing and puffing, and just want to show that they can flex their muscle. But once we sit down, no matter how small you are, you say, you know what, God is my source and my survival, my deliverer, and in him I trust. That enemy that you see as a giant, you will see him as an ant. Trust me. That enemy that you see as a giant, you will see as an ant. So anyway, take heart, guys, and be encouraged, and know that the Spirit of the Lord will come upon you, and he will lead you and direct you. And you have an angel encamp around about you. He said that there's more with you than those that are against you. So keep this in mind. If you're going through anywhere right now where you have a fear of the enemy, just rebuke it in the name of Jesus. And wherever you are, I cover you in the blood of Jesus, and I pray that God will send angels, He will send aid, and He will help you out of any situation, and that He will cramp and paralyze the enemy of your trouble. So anyway, if you like my content, click like, click share, and thank you guys. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for